My name is Andy, and this is the most magical podcast on earth. When I'm not on holiday at Walt Disney World, I'm planning a holiday to Disney. And when I'm not planning a holiday to Disney, I'm talking about Disney with other UK fans like me who make the trip to Orlando and the House of the Mouse. So whether you're a parks professional or a Florida first-timer, this is the podcast for you. Each episode, I'll be chatting to other Disney superfans to share memories of their magical times, answering your Walt Disney World questions, getting you all the latest news from the parks, and finding out what's happening right now in Orlando. So get your ears on as we take you to the most magical place on earth. This is the most magical podcast on earth, part of the Secret Recordings Network. You can follow us on all the socials, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. We are at PodMagical. We've got brand new podcasts out every other Friday. So if you've not subscribed, you can do that right now. Do not miss a single podcast going into your inbox straight away. And of course, we're here to answer your questions as well as chat to regular guests and get you all the tips. Question here from Sarah, who sent me a direct message on Instagram. Don't forget, messages are open on Instagram. If you want to send a message, any planning questions. Sarah wants to know, seeing all the videos and vlogs and listening to people talking about Christmas at Walt Disney World, is it better to go before or after Thanksgiving? Obviously, Thanksgiving is a busy time, so should be avoided. Sarah, easy question. After Thanksgiving. You've got that little bit of a lull after Thanksgiving. So between Thanksgiving and Christmas, it gets a little bit quieter. As it gets towards Christmas, it gets busier and busier. But Thanksgiving, last Thursday of November, then it should quieten down for a couple of weeks. So that's a really good time to go. And the reason you should go after Thanksgiving is because Epcot's Festival of the Holidays doesn't start till Thanksgiving. Well, it hasn't done for the last few years anyway, and I'm guessing next year will be the same. So after Thanksgiving, you get the Festival of the Holidays, candlelight processional, the cookie stroll, and all the Christmas stuff will be everywhere. So there's your answer. If you got a question, drop me a line. You want to be a podcast guest like Kate, send me a message as well. Time to talk Disney with fellow podcaster Kate, who's here. Welcome to the podcast, Kate. Welcome to my podcast, Kate.
Thank you so much for having me.
So what's your podcast?
My podcast is me and my friend David talking all about the other love of my life, apart from Disney, which is Heartstopper, the Netflix series.
Loved it.
I loved it too.
Loved it.
So much that I made a podcast about it. So, it's just us rewatching the series to keep ourselves going until season 2 and talking about every little gorgeous detail to relive it in all its glory. We're on Instagram as at Heartstopper Fan Podcast.
But you've only recently just come back from Walt Disney World then, haven't you, Kate? Just a couple of weeks ago.
I have. Yeah, I was there on my delayed honeymoon, which also ended up being kind of our first wedding anniversary, mine and my wife's first wedding anniversary / honeymoon, which was fabulous.
So fill me in on this trip then. How did you make your perfect Walt Disney World honeymoon then? Where did you stay? Where'd you go? What'd you do? What little extra things did you throw in?
Oh, so much. Because it was delayed, it was quite good in a way because we didn't feel the hit of the money coming out of our account just before we went. We'd already paid it all off year before last, so it didn't feel like we were having to spend that much. So then we were like, oh, shall we just like treat ourselves to a little hotel upgrade? Yeah, why not? Shall we just book a couple of extra meals in some nice fancy dining places? Yeah. I dread to think what the final total cost was, but I don't need to worry because that's last year's Kate's problem. So we stayed in Port Orleans Riverside, which was gorgeous.
Yeah.
We were originally supposed to be staying in All Star Music.
Right, yeah.
Which I'm sure would have been great as well.
But not for a honeymoon. I think that's good family resort. Honeymoon, somewhere like Riverside where you can get the boat over to Disney Springs. Cute.
Yeah, it was very cute. Very much like a pinch ourselves moment that we were there every day. We woke up and walked across the little bridge to go across to like get the bus, and just continually pinching ourselves. Oh, and we had one morning where we just chilled by the pool and then wandered over to, the little fishing bit they've got there.
Oh, yeah.
And saw a tiny turtle, like a freshly newborn turtle, just hopped over to us from its little egg. And I thought, that's not even like in the parks. It's not even part of Disney, but it was a very magical moment. We had a little chat with him before before he hopped in the water for the first time. And yeah, it was
Bless.
amazing. It was our first time staying on site as well.
Right, yeah.
Which was very much a honeymoon treat, because normally, well, I say normally, we've only been once before together, and stayed in, I think it was called Clarion Inn. It was like near Disney-ish, but we
Yeah.
had to get an Uber every day. So yeah, this was a big upgrade for sure.
So is it you that's the big Disney fan, I guess?
Yeah, well, it's both of us,
Right, okay.
really. I've been going to Disneyland Paris with my family since I was 3, which is when Disneyland Paris first opened. Kind of lost count of how many times I went with my family to Disneyland Paris. Feel very, very, very lucky that I had the chance to just drive over, good old Eurotunnel, and got plenty of exposure when I was little. And then, yeah, my wife was doing the same with her family from Germany. And so we may have been there at the same time at some point. I don't know.
You never
But
know.
then we combined our love of Disney together when we met 10 years ago. And yeah, we've been a fair few times since then together as well.
So when was your first visit to Walt Disney World? When was the first time you went over to Florida?
Well, the first time I went with my family was when I was about 11. That would have been in about 2002.
Okay, yeah.
Somewhere around there. And my memory of that trip is that it was just really, really hot compared to Paris.
You'd say so, yeah.
It's very hot. And I remember in Epcot they had this, like, I can't remember what it was called, but they had an exhibition type thing where they were showing off all the new technology, and they had segways there. And I remember my mind being blown. I was like, how are they balancing? How does that even work? Two-wheeled bike thing.
And that was 20 years ago. So that, even then, that's like before you started seeing segways on people doing excursions and stuff like that. That's pretty advanced, isn't it?
Yeah, they're everywhere now, but at the time that was like living in the future. And I know Epcot's having a big renovation at the moment, isn't it, to try and keep itself ahead of the game. And it's quite hard to do with technology moving so fast nowadays. But at that time, yeah, that blew my mind.
I remember it was probably around that time when I went to Epcot, and I remember there was a little booth, probably in the same thing, where you could take a photograph of yourself and email it to somebody, and they would get it like straight away. Here's me at Epcot. Yeah. That was like 20 years ago. And like now you can just like picture on your phone, send it over.
Yeah, send it to literally everyone in your contacts immediately.
Yeah.
And just take it for granted that you have all this stuff on your phone.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. My friends laugh at me all the time because I'm forever saying that we're living in the future. And I'm like, no, it's the normal life now.
Yeah, yeah. But back in Epcot, 20 years ago in Epcot, it was 2022 way back.
Exactly.
Yeah, Epcot was. That's where I think it's now struggling, because I think they could have an idea of the future, but now they're not really sure because we are living in the future. I don't know where they're going to go, which is why it's got to change, I guess.
I'm excited about the new Moana thing they're building. That looked amazing. Well, we couldn't see it, what they were actually building, obviously, but the amount of space that is going to take up from the looks of, where it was fenced off, that's going to be quite impressive when it's done, I think. And obviously we've seen the models from D23. Looking forward to that. And I think that it looks like they're probably going down more of that route, like the world element of Epcot rather than the future element, because which I don't hate.
They've changed all the lands. So which would you say is your favourite park? In fact, let's talk about some of your favourite things. Let's start with your favourite park.
I think Hollywood Studios, if I had to pick just one. I love Tower of Terror. I loved Hollywood Studios even before they added Toy Story Land and Star Wars Land. And now that that's all there as well, it's just epic. Like, we spent a lot of time there.
Yeah. Do you not miss the old Hollywood feel of Hollywood Studios when you properly used to go behind the scenes? If you've been going for like 20 years, you'd remember like the tram tour, and used to be able to see people doing animation. I remember them like drawing Lilo and Stitch when I went for the first time.
Oh Oh yeah, you used to be able to go in and like draw along with them, didn't you?
Yeah,
The little character drawing thing. Yeah, we did that in Animal Kingdom this time.
Yeah.
They've still got it there.
That's right.
But yeah, it has changed a lot, but I think it's still good. It's a lot busier than it was. And we did notice that when we were there, that it feels a lot more frantic with people kind of running for the Star Wars bit, running for the Toy Story bit. But the heart of it's still there. And I just love Tower of Terror as well, because I used to be terrified of it. So I'm quite proud that I'm now able to go on it.
Is that your favourite attraction then?
It probably is my favourite attraction if I had to pick just one, but they're all so different. I think my favourite of any Disney park I've ever been to is the controversial, but the one in California where they've altered Tower of Terror to make it Guardians themed.
Yeah, it works really well, doesn't it, with the music?
It really does. It really does. And that Guardian soundtrack and seeing all the characters pop up. And I know a lot of people were not mad keen on it because it was like, you can't replace Tower of Terror, but we've still got Tower of Terror in Florida. I think it's good to have the option of a little bit more of a light-hearted version of that ride. Yeah, definitely.
Did you get to go on the new Guardians ride at Epcot?
We did. We managed to get on it twice, actually. Very, very chuffed. We did the tip. We saw Adam Hatton and Gary C use on one of their vlogs where one of them had the online digital clock of Florida time, and the other had the app open ready to refresh at exactly 7 a.m. as soon as to the second, you know. And yeah, managed to get on it twice. We had September.
Good one.
Yeah, as the first time we went on it. And I don't think I even took in what song it was at the time because there was just so much to take in. I was like, what is happening? The ride photo was quite funny of us on that ride because it's, am I allowed to say spoilers? I don't want to ruin it for anyone.
Yeah, go on.
There's a reverse launch at the beginning.
We know that.
And that's when it takes your photo. We know that. Okay, that's fine. Well, just so anyone else with long hair is prepared, it takes your photo during the reverse launch. So when we first went on it, my head, I just looked like, is it Cousin It? Who's just got the hair completely over the face and no eyes. So the second time we went on it, I tied my hair up because I was prepared.
And we'll share that picture on socials. Then we can all have a look.
Oh yeah, can
Please
do. Have a good laugh. You'll recognise me. I'll be the one with no head.
So even though you've been on Guardians, you'd still say Tower of Terror is your favourite attraction?
I think so, yeah. I enjoyed the new Guardians. I really, really did. And it's very different. And like I say, it's hard to pick just one because they're so different. Maybe it's the nostalgia factor that's making me still go for Tower of Terror.
Yeah.
I'm trying to work out what it is. I enjoyed the new Guardians ride very, very much, obviously, with being a big Guardians of the Galaxy fan. And it was one of the ones that did just make me smile all the way through and stay smiling after I came off it.
Have you got a favourite restaurant?
Well, we had a few really good restaurants this time, with it being the honeymoon.
The honeymoon, yeah.
I think our favourite, because we are both a bit lactose intolerant.
Right.
To varying degrees. So tend to try and avoid milk where possible. So we did a lot of exploring of the vegan options and milk-free options in Disney, which I could talk to you for like a whole another hour about if you've got time another day. Because they're so good. The cast members are so good at accommodating if you ask. One of the best places we went for that reason was Sebastian's Bistro.
Oh, over at Caribbean Beach. Now, I've been past this and it looks a bit like a cheaper Ohana. Is it?
Yes, because we did also go to Ohana and wasn't as good.
Ohana wasn't as good as Sebastian's?
Wasn't as good as Sebastian's, and it was about double the price.
And was it similar food then? Because I know I've seen the bread puddings on the menu. How does that differ to?
For the milk-free version of the vegan version of the bread pudding, at least, that was one of the things that was definitely better in Sebastian's, because in Sebastian's it's like a tray bake style, and you
Okay.
get a square, like a really big square, like a brick basically, slice. So it's nice and soft on all the sides. In Ohana, it's the same pudding, but it's baked in little individual kind of round pots by the looks of it.
Right.
So it's got a crust all the way around the outside. So it was a bit hard, and it just wasn't as squishy, and it wasn't as big, and it didn't have as nice sauce and ice cream with it. And yeah, Sebastian's just had the edge on that
Sebastian's for the
pudding.
win.
Sebastian's for the win, and it's significantly cheaper.
And
as
it's easy
well.
to get to, even if you're not staying at Caribbean Beach, because it's right on the
Yeah.
Skyliner. So maybe a lunch, jump out of Epcot, jump on the Skyliner and head
That's
back.
exactly what we did. That is exactly what we did. We popped over from Epcot, over on the Skyliner, had some lunch in Sebastian's, and then back over to Epcot for Harmonious. And that was an excellent day. It was a very excellent day.
So we're going for Sebastian's as your favourite restaurant?
I think so, yeah. Because it's all you care to enjoy, but they bring the food to your table.
Yeah.
And we also did in Animal Kingdom Lodge.
Boma.
Should have that's the boy. Yeah, Boma. The food was gorgeous, really, really gorgeous, but it felt a bit of a hustle to get up and get it. Like you had to fight your way through a little bit. I don't know, maybe it was particularly busy when we were there.
Yeah.
But it was because it was go up and serve yourself, and we were sat on one of the tables kind of further away. I don't know. It just felt a bit more hectic. I didn't feel like we got to sit and enjoy the food as much because it was more running around trying to get it.
Let's face it, Kate, you are on your honeymoon. You and
I
your
was.
wife, you want people to bring you the food. You don't need to
Yeah,
be putting the work
That's
in.
exactly it.
You want
That's
a lovely
exactly it.
romantic dinner. I don't want to keep getting up and going to the buffet and fighting and tripping over kids. Bring the food to me.
This is very true. I know it makes it sound very spoiled, doesn't it? But it's true. It does make a difference to the experience of getting the food, doesn't it? If
Totally.
someone's just like bringing it over to you. On both those occasions, this is one of my tips actually. I've written a list of tips to pass on to you and to pass on to your listeners is if you are celebrating, make sure you get the buttons.
Got to get the buttons because we got the lovely cast member in our hotel who checked us in wrote us a "we're celebrating our honeymoon" button because he didn't have any of the happily ever after ones, and I'm quite glad he did because then everyone seemed to notice that one more because it actually said honeymoon on it. Oh, right. Yeah.
Whereas the happily ever after ones, I don't know, it's a bit ambiguous. People use them for honeymoon, but people also use them for anniversary, and people also use them for just celebrating in general. I don't know. We seem to get a lot of free stuff from the honeymoon one.
What kind of free stuff did you get? I love to know what free stuff people got. What's the best freebie you got?
So much free stuff. We got cocktails at Boma.
Wow.
Yeah. We got when we went to the Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween party, we got given a chocolate brownie, and then we were like, oh, has this got milk in it? Because we will still eat it, but we probably shouldn't because it's gonna give us a bellyache. And then the cast member went and got us one of the mint julep iced things as well, and was like, you can still keep the brownie, like eat it at your own pace, but at least you'll be able to have the mint julep without getting belly pain. So yeah, we got a lovely slushy and chocolate brownie from there, which was lush. So in Hollywood Studios, nice quick service actually, the one up by Tower of Terror that's just like on the left hand side as you're approaching Tower of Terror. I can't remember what it's called, but they had a pretzel bratwurst hot dog.
Okay.
That we felt like we had to try because my wife's German, and it holds up. It's very, very good. And when we ordered that, the cast member there also gave us a free one of the 50th anniversary massive blondie brownie things, which again we probably shouldn't have eten because
but it was free.
Intolerant, but we definitely did. I popped a lactate and I went for it, and it was delicious. What else do we have? Yeah, a couple of other free cocktails, lots.
Brilliant. Did you
Just
spend
lots of
any money on
sweet
this trip
treats.
at all, or did people just keep
We
giving you
did. Oh,
food?
we still spent a lot of
Oh,
money.
yeah, you
We
spent
still
a lot
spent
of
a lot of money. Yeah. Oh, although that was one thing. On our very first morning in Magic Kingdom, we went into the bakery on Main Street to get breakfast from the Starbucks there, and that was the one time we actually got some money off rather than something extra that we didn't ask for free with the honeymoon button, because we went and got ourselves some breakfast in the Starbucks, and then the cast member told us that Mickey was going to pay for the coffees, so we
Oh,
only
bless
paid for
Mickey.
the bless
Bless
Mickey.
Mickey Mouse.
We love Mickey.
Always thinking.
So that was really lovely.
Especially when you tell them. We're going to take a quick break for the news, and then we're going to come back. We're going to get your ideal Disney day. We're going to get
Fabulous.
some of your top tips, and we'll find out why you actually love Walt Disney World, Kate.
Oh.
The big news, of course, from Disney over the last couple of weeks is that Bob Iger is back. The much-loved big Disney boss who left a couple of years ago is back. Bob Chapek, the much-hated Disney boss, has gone. Iger is back, and if you're thinking, oh, that's great, that means free fast passes and Magical Express going to get, well, don't get your hopes up too much. Away from the political side of what's going on in management at Walt Disney World, other things going on in the parks. Hey Disney is starting to be rolled out in some of the hotels. This is their voice-controlled smart speakers, Hey Disney, which works like Amazon. It's currently being rolled out at the Polynesian resorts over the next couple of weeks, if you're going to be staying with that. Meanwhile, the Caribbean beach resorts, the pirate rooms have gone. They're going to be replaced with Little Mermaid-themed rooms. And also, there is a new dining package for Fantasmic. You can now eat at the Sci-Fi Dine-In, which is not the greatest food. It's a little bit greasy, which I think is why it's so dark in there. Great atmosphere, though, and it's one of those iconic Disney World restaurants. You can now get a package where you can get your meal in there, plus a reserved seating area for that evening's Fantasmic. Anything else going on in the parks? We'll update you on the socials, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, at PodMagical. Kate, on this episode of the podcast, so tell us, actually, why do you love Walt Disney World?
I love all the Disney parks. We've been lucky enough to go to Paris, California, Florida, and Disney Sea in Japan over the last 10 years, and I love them all. And I think the main reason is the feeling it gives you. It's just such a warm, friendly environment. Everyone's there for the same reason, because everyone just loves Disney. Everyone's just happy to be there. You can start chatting to anyone in the parks and you immediately have something in common, and there's just that shared excitement and just happiness, and you get to hear so many people's different stories of why they're there, and the attention to detail as well. I feel like I spend half the time we're in the parks just saying, oh look, there's like tiny little details that they don't have to do, because probably half the people you wouldn't even stop and notice it if you were just there for a couple of days. But when you've got time, like we're lucky enough in the UK that we get the 2-week tickets to stop and slow down and just sit and look, it's exceptional. It's next level, and there's nowhere else that does it like Disney. There's just not.
And you're just back from a trip to Florida, so you've got a list of tips.
I do.
What have you got for us, Kate?
Okay,
Get
hang
the pen
on. Let
ready.
me get
All
it
right,
up
here we
on
go.
my
I'm going to
phone.
write them down.
I've written them all down. Oh, I was writing them down on my phone while we were there.
I'm writing them down. You were? Thank you for doing the homework for us.
That's quite all right. This is my thing why I love Disney. It just brings people together. So I knew I had to share all the magical joy. If you've booked a boarding group for Guardians and it's come up as like 3 p.m. and you think, brilliant, we can have a lazy morning in the pool.
No.
Keep half an eye on it.
Yeah.
Because it might get earlier. But we did hear from our friends that happened to be there at the same time that theirs got changed to an earlier time and they didn't realise and still got there later and they were still let on. So if your boarding group does get pushed early and you realise you're not going to make it, don't panic too much.
Yeah.
Double tip. Water fountain. Water was like a little bit hit and miss. Some places it was lovely, some places not so much. But you can ask for tap water at every quick service, and it's much better. Also, don't queue for the free water in the quick service. They usually got a few lined up at the mobile order pickup point, and you can just go and grab them.
Good tip.
Refresh Genie Plus at 1 p.m, especially if you're in Epcot, because more reservations might come up as people cancel if they get a Guardians boarding group instead.
Oh, yeah, of course. I never even
Yeah.
thought of that.
Yeah, that was a good one.
So fiddle faddle around 1 in Epcot.
Fiddle faddle at 1 in Epcot.
Good plan.
And we've got a Ratatouille reservation that way, so that was great.
Good.
MagicBand Plus. I didn't bother getting it. My wife did. We, at the moment, with what they've got there for it now, we didn't really think it was worth the extra money. It's basically just waving at statues. But if you really like collecting things, if you're a collector and you really want to do it and collect all the Fab 50, make sure you press Start Quest on the Disney Play app before you start going and waving at statues, because otherwise they don't count. We found that out when we were already about halfway through the holiday, and then we were like, it's not going to happen now. Let's just not
do you
bother.
have to keep charging the new Magic Bands like every day?
Yeah, they do need plugging in pretty often. I mean, I think I've seen a video of Tim Tracker showing that you can still use it for all the basic functions, like getting in the park, doing your what do you call them nowadays? Fast pass, not fast pass.
Lightning lanes.
That's the boy. You can still do all of that even if it runs out of battery altogether. But if you want to use it for all the extra things like waving at statues, you've got to charge it.
Right. I don't think I'll bother. It's not for me, I don't think.
Yeah.
It's enough.
It was quite cool when it lit up in time with the fireworks, but yeah.
But do you want to be looking at your wrist when the fireworks are on, or do you want to be
Exactly.
looking at the fireworks?
Exactly. There's already so much to see with the fireworks and the projections.
Yeah.
And yeah, you don't really want to be looking at your wrist, so I wouldn't bother. Unless, like I say, they add some more stuff in the future, then maybe. Oh, this is a good one. Speaking of the buttons, the celebration buttons, ask to get a little bit of sticky tape over the top of the writing on the button, because if you don't, it will wipe off all over your clothes almost immediately. If you do, it'll last the full 2 weeks and you keep getting free stuff. So
exactly. Cocktails, cakes, bring them on.
Bring on the cocktails. Oh, yes. If you come in hurricane season, which is now, don't leave the fireworks till later in the holiday because they might get cancelled.
Right.
Do the fireworks early, or try and do the fireworks early. And then you can always watch them again if you really love them, which you probably will. But yeah, we didn't go to any fireworks in the first week and then panicked a little bit because we were like, oh no, what do we do now if they are cancelled? Because
of storms,
ended up and we did end up wanting to see them more than once because there's so much to take in, like you said. Buses from Port Orleans at least were leaving about 5 minutes earlier than the time it was showing on the app.
Oh, right, yeah, because of course you can check the bus times on the app. Was that the same time it was showing on the screen when you get to the stop, or were they not in sync?
Yeah, it was the same time on the screen at the stop as well. And quite a few times we got there 5 minutes earlier. The bus arrived 5 minutes earlier and then just left. And we were like, oh, good job we didn't wait until the time that was posted on the app then. So yeah, if you don't want to be waiting 20 minutes, that's a good tip.
How were the buses from Port Orleans?
Very good, actually.
Good? Yeah.
Very good. Yeah, we never had to wait longer than 15 minutes altogether, which was great. And coming back the same. There was a couple of times when it was obviously busier, when it was park opening, park closing, but then they put on those longer bendy buses, and yeah, we never had to
That's good.
not get on one. We never had to wait longer than 15 minutes for one. that was a really good perk of staying on site.
Good.
I think I'm going to find it hard to go back now. Um, and if you're ever chilly in an evening, the back row of the bus is above the engine, so it's basically a heated
Keeps nice
seat.
and warm.
Ask the photopass photographers about magic shots because they don't always offer, but they do always have them.
Right.
So I was such a pest, like dragging my wife to all the photopass photographers, being like, "We need more pictures." But yeah, they will always have cute magic shots with the characters in, so always worth asking. Oh, this is one I didn't know. I don't know if you did, Andy. If you don't want a full meal deal as it's listed on the menu, then you can just ask for, like, say the hot dog, but without the tater tots or whatever it happens to be, and it gets cheaper.
I've heard of this,
They
but I've
don't.
never tried it. So it does actually work.
Yeah,
You can go, I don't want
it does
more
actually
carbs.
work. Yeah, I remember it was Friar's Nook. We were there on the last morning getting breakfast or lunch. Might have been lunch because I was having a hot dog. Probably wouldn't have had that for breakfast. And it was a hot dog and tater tots. And I said, "Can I have it without the tater tots?" And it reduced by like $2.
There you go.
Yeah,
Don't order food that you don't really want.
exactly. And don't feel like you've got to stuff yourself just because it's only listed as a meal.
Yeah.
They can do them separately and it does get cheaper.
Kate, we've only got a couple of minutes before we lose you on Zoom.
Oh no!
So
I said I was going to need more than one because of the talking about all the vegan food, didn't I?
You did say that. Got to ask you, Kate, your perfect Walt Disney World date. Now, as I always say, this is not your only day in Walt Disney World, so don't go crazy by going to every single park and water park in Disney Springs. But if you had your perfect Disney day, from picking your favourite hotel to favourite restaurant and ride, what would you do? Where would you go?
I think I'm going to wake up in Yacht and Beach Club because we've not stayed there before, but we did stay in Newport Bay in Paris, which is kind of a similar vibe.
Yeah.
And I've heard very good things about Yacht and Beach from friends who were staying there. And it's near Epcot and Hollywood Studios, which are my two favourite parks. So I'd go character breakfast in the hotel because that was one we were going to do when we were there this time, but ended up cancelling because the characters weren't there at the time, I think.
So there's no point.
There's not much point. And the vegan options looked a bit limited. So, yeah, when they've added more vegan milk-free options, I'll do character breakfast in Yacht and Beach Club. Then I'll get the boat to Hollywood Studios, go on Toy Story Mania at least twice to give my wife a chance to beat me because, you know, I'm quite good.
Yeah, you got to let her.
I'll do it once to see how high a score I can get, and then once again to kind of give her half a chance of beating me. Tower Terror, obviously. Unexpected favourite that I might not have thought was going to be that good, but turned out to be a good shout. The Frozen sing-along show.
Yeah, good fun. I like watching all the dads sing along, even though they don't really want to, and then they find themselves very involved.
Yeah, it was really good fun. And the cast members that we had who were presenting it when we went to watch it were hilarious.
Yeah,
it was
funny.
basically like a stand-up show with some Frozen singing, which, you know, can't go wrong. Good way to get out of the heat and get some aircon for half an hour or so. So that's what I'm going to do about kind of midday is when it starts getting hot. I'm having that pretzel hot dog for lunch because that was delicious. And then getting the Skyliner over to Epcot. Guardians.
Obviously.
Cosmic Rewind. Obviously. Hopefully with the conga because that was the other song we had when we went on it.
Never had.
And that, it's so good. It's so good. The first time we went on it, it was excellent. The second time with the conga, it was another level. So I'm having the conga. And then probably just chill for a bit. Go in Nemo and Friends, the aquarium bit. I love Finding Nemo the musical in Animal Kingdom, and I'm not going to pop over there today because
No time.
it's a bit
There's
much,
no
and
time.
you've got to pace yourself. Food and wine our way round all the nice milk-free options until Harmonious. Watch Harmonious. Even though I did prefer the fireworks in Magic Kingdom, I just don't want to run myself ragged. I'll go and do fireworks in Magic Kingdom at least another 3 nights
Yeah,
and
do
just
that
stick to
another time.
Harmonious while we're in Epcot anyway. That's my day.
Ending the day
And then
at
I'm
Epcot.
done.
Perfect.
Yes.
Kate, lovely talking to you. I believe you're off
Lovely
to
talking
Disneyland
to you
Paris next
too.
year. Booked.
I am. Yeah, we booked within 2 weeks of getting back from Florida. So
Of course you did.
Yeah.
Perfect. Kate, lovely chatting to you. Have a magical day.
You too. Thank you so much for having me.
Fancy joining me on the podcast as a guest? Do get in touch. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. Pod Magical is where we are. We're going to keep doing podcasts every other week, by the way, right through to the new year. So we are looking for guests for the new year. It's probably going to be like March now, but do get in touch. Maybe go in over the next few months. We'll get you on when you get back. If you are going, don't forget to tag us in your pictures, especially on Instagram. I like seeing what you're up to. I like living your Walt Disney World life through you. So tag me in that. We can share those as well. If you are going, the temperature's cooled down. They've had some really cold days over in Orlando now. I say cold for people in Orlando. For us, it's probably still going to feel quite warm. But you're kind of like late teens, early 20s, kind of like late 60s, early 70s if you're looking at. Crowd-wise, it's still busy because, well, it's always busy now. But obviously we've got after the Thanksgiving peak, and we're not quite building up to the Christmas peak. So if you're going around now, it shouldn't be too bad. It will start getting busy. Of course, all the Christmas events are happening now. We've got the Festival of the Holidays and the Candlelight Processional at Epcot. We've got the Christmas parties over at Magic Kingdom on select nights. They've all sold out, by the way. Yes, they were very expensive, and they're all sold out. And of course, Universal, they've got their Christmas. Even SeaWorld has got all Christmas stuff going on. And of course, if you are going to be there over Christmas and New Year, it's the busiest time, so make sure you got those Park Pass reservations. New Year, Magic Kingdom have got their New Year's Eve fireworks on the 30th and 31st, so you've got 2 evenings to watch those. Epcot, of course, is the big party place on New Year's Eve. They just do those on New Year's Eve. Top tip for this episode: if you're struggling to get dining reservations for Disney Springs, it is tough to get dining reservations at the minute. They open up 60 days before your trip. Have a look at Open Table. Open Table, you might have used that to book restaurants here in the UK. Some of the Disney Springs restaurants are on there as well, and sometimes they have availability that's not usually up on the Disney World official website. So, struggling to get restaurant reservations at Disney Springs? Just check Open Table to see if it's on there as well. Have a look. Don't forget, back with brand new podcasts every other Friday. So 2 weeks today, we'll be back. You won't miss it if you subscribe, so hit that subscribe button. And until next time, please stand clear of the doors.